a lot of y'all understand that's not my responsibility. Not only is that my ex-girlfriend and I don't want anything to do with her or what she got going on, but I don't even make that type of content. This is not no big unjust issue like the government trying to control an entire population and we need somebody to speak up. Bro, this is a random woman on the internet, bro. This is a random lady on the internet saying stuff with a microphone. And I understand that certain stuff she might say may bother you. And listen, I'm obese as well, but I don't let it bother me. Listen, my name Bennett, and I'm not in it. Leave, bro. I don't agree with what she's saying. She wasn't like this when we was together. I don't agree with what she's saying. She wasn't like this when we was together. I didn't condone any of this, okay? Leave me alone, please. Please.
We will be perfect in every aspect of the game. You drop a pass, you run a mile. You miss a blocking assignment, you run a mile. You fumble the football, and I will break my foot off in your John Brown hind parts. And then you will run a mile. Perfection.
Content creator JustPearlyThings is best known for video titles such as "Watch This Modern Woman Get Schooled," "Modern Women Think Too Highly of Themselves," "Modern Women Know Nothing About Relation Dynamics," "Men Are Not Interested in Modern Women," "I'm a quote-unquote 10," "Modern Woman Humbled."
I don't think there is much that I can say about Pearly that hasn't already been said. My one contribution would be that when she moved to the UK, she seemed to become much more conservative, much more right-wing, much more like talking about sort of, you know, traditional gender roles, etc., than she had been before. And I think that has to do with just like a way for her to find a niche, because the other niche was not going to work anymore, which was like, I'm the girlfriend of angry reactions, or, you know, I live in this huge house with like my many siblings, etc. So she started to lean really hard into those values, which they might be values that she's always had, but she became like more public about them.
Now, many of y'all may or may not have seen many clips of her content propagating on your Instagram Reels, TikTok For You page, or YouTube Shorts homepage.
Thoughts on Andrew Tate?
I think he speaks a lot of truth, and a lot of women don't want to hear it. Oh, if you sleep around, that is not attractive to guys. They don't want you to know that like you age out of the dating marketplace.
How can you be high value if 50 men have slept with you?
What if I've just been single for a long time?
No, unacceptable.
Why is it unacceptable?
Yo, this is where he capping, y'all, and I'm gonna hold him accountable. Pay attention to what just happened.
A body count is probably the #1 most easiest way to judge the value of a female. I actually think that 90, no, I'm gonna say.
Basically, the more partners a woman has, the less likely she is to have a happy marriage. And so I think that's why historically we've always protected women and like tell them to like not be outside of marriage, because the bond is so strong for women during sex. We release a hormone during that men don't.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Conclusion, do not engage in the dirty and squirty. A study found that 169% of women that did the dirty and squirty before wedlock were 420% more sad, mostly because during the act, women secrete hormones glue that bonds them to their partner. It is a huge mess, so ladies, stop being such sluts.
Oh, I say it again, you've been had. You've been took. You've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok.
There might be causation, but they're not correlated. A low body count and someone who's not a selfish lover in bed? Bro, come on now. The most important barometer is how she treats you. Is she on time? Is she treating you well? Is she peaceful? Do you enjoy being around her? Because you can have a low body count, and low body count usually equates to low libido. So unless you were trying to be one of these people in the Reddit forums on the r/dead bedroom complaining about the frequency of your intimacy with your girl, you probably don't want a girl with a low body count anyways. But again, Once again, a low body count does not equate to sexual compatibility with the person you are going to date, right? You may want it once a week. She may want it once a week. It seems like you all two low body counts will coincide.
God, I just wanted God to forgive me for what I was gonna say. I ain't gonna say it though.
She may want it once a week. You may want it 3 or 4 times a week with your high body count, right? So make it make sense.
I feel like a lot of problems would be solved if we got rid of birth control and social media.
If this was Pearl's world, I'd get rid of birth control. I'd ban it, but that'll never happen. I think that's the root of all evil. And I'd actually go for the root of all evil.
The root of all evil. That's what she said. Okay, my girl.
Say it. I don't think women should vote. Huh? I don't think women should vote.
Lord Jesus, keep on going.
Yeah, that's
no
it.
Women, you can't vote. No birth control. Keep it going.
Yeah, no, because it's always freedom without responsibility. And
I
so,
love
like,
it.
the
Women
reason
should not
No,
vote.
but
Pearly
I'll
said it
tell you-
herself.
I'll tell you why, though. I'll tell you why. Because it was freedom without responsibility.
I love
And before women, like I believe in consequences for your decision. So the men know if they vote someone batshit crazy into power, you guys get drafted. We don't. Women decide elections. We're 55% of the population. I think if we want to vote, equally draft us. Y'all want equality. And personally, I don't want to get drafted, so I'll be in the kitchen.
Wait, hold on. I thought she was crazy. I think she has a point.
Go ahead.
She's talking about equality.
Sure.
That's just what the birth control thing. Hey, yo. But I understand where she's coming from with the drafting thing.
2 hours later.
No, it's not because they vote and they don't get drafted that they don't suffer the consequences of not being with. Nah. So yeah, no, I got nothing. I really tried.
Why don't you just say women should get drafted? This whole idea of like you shouldn't get voted to get drafted.
No.
First off, when's the last time a draft happened? But what, 30, 40, 50 years? Okay, that's one. 2, you act like when people get elected to be politicians, they don't enact laws that negatively impact strictly women. What, you think a birth control ban wouldn't affect women primarily?
No, it's just men.
What do you think, an abortion ban doesn't affect women primarily? Right? There are plenty of laws that a crazy batshit politician come in and enact that would primarily only affect women. But you just pulled up drafts, which is like something that rarely, if ever, happens. And then you're just using that to say they should lose their right to vote. And the birth control thing was so crazy to me. It's like, argument for the birth control, I guess, is because of birth control, women can now be more selective, and so it's worse for society. So they want to remove your ability to choose. And here's a problem, okay? This girl's a really popular red pill creator.
Did you know if you sleep with more than 5 guys, your chance of a happy marriage after 10 years goes from 80% to 25%? Because the more men you sleep with, you lose your ability to bond with each one.
Pair bonding.
Yeah, it's pair bonding. So if you sleep with 1 guy, you're going to compare the next guy to him. If you sleep with 10 guys, you compare all 10. If you sleep with 20, you compare all 20. You're not likely to be divorced, but you're more likely to leave if you did that. So your husband might pay for it because you're sleeping with your husband wishing it was the other guy.
Felons have 30% more children than non-felons.
I love it.
Yeah.
So I don't. So you just threw out a number.
Yeah.
I've never heard that. You have nothing to back it up.
Uh-huh.
So another example is, I'm sorry, we got to stop there. What happens in this community? What happens with the people who have this school of thought? They'll throw out numbers. Where did that stat come from?
Where did it come from?
Where did it come from?
Off the top of my head, I don't know, but it's easy to Google.
I know
like
it's
if
easy.
you,
I know
like if you Google it, it's like at the top of Google.
It's easy to Google, right?
Yeah.
But the reality of the matter is, when people are sharing their statistics and numbers, a lot of times they don't know. They can't even tell you the primary source. So
right, because it's like off the top of your head, you're not.
Even as social influencers, right? We can go online and we can say anything, right? We just watch Kanye go online and just spew utter bullshit, even though the reality of it is much different than what he's saying online, right? And the problem is most people are not going to go look up the actual studies. They have no idea how to articulate those studies and see the holes or poke the holes within those studies, right? And the problem is while Pearl is saying just Google it, Google is a full internet search of every type of information, false information, real information, things like that. And that most people, when they go on the internet, they go looking for things that they already agree with. They don't go looking for the actual truth to see if you actually lie. And then some dudes just don't look at all. They agree with your message. And so they're just sitting there nodding.
Did you know if you sleep with more than 5 guys, your chance of a happy marriage after 10 years goes from 80% to 25%? Because the more men you sleep with, you lose your ability to bond with each one.
Pair bonding.
Yeah, it's pair bonding.
I'm a psychologist, nigga. You don't think I can read you? I'm a psychologist, nigga. You don't think I can read right through your phony ass?
All right, let's continue this discussion regarding pair bonding, because the number of men trying to double down on their bullshit in my comment section tells me that they're not listening. So in this video, I'll be talking about 3 things. The first, where did this myth come from? Who started the narrative that women lose the ability to pair bond? 2, let's talk about the actual science behind pair bonding. And 3, why weak and insecure men use this as another way to slut shame women and push their specific agenda. So 1, where did this narrative come from? It's from the dingus that's the head of the National Abstinence Clearinghouse, which is an organization that pushes abstinence-only sex education, that you should wait until you're married to have sex. They also push that people should not have access to birth control or any kind of family planning. Even married couples, you don't get to have say or control in having babies. That's up to God. So all these men out here pushing this narrative, I hope you're ready for abstinence only until you're married, and that you don't get access to any birth control, because y'all love to pick and choose the pieces that fit your narrative.
Yeah, you know, it's been a while since we did a video that was strictly scientific, so let's take a look at what pair bonding is and the function that it serves in humanity. Quick preface, I'm not an evolutionary psychologist, but I did reach out to some evolutionary psychologists to get their input on this, and they sent me some really good resources, and those are the resources that I'll be using to give this explanation. So pair bonding appears to be something that's present really only in mammals. It's been studied in other animals like voles and marmosets, and of course primates like humans. Essentially, the working theory is that certain mammals bond together because they believe that over time, the likelihood of them producing at least one successful offspring will be greater if they stick together, as opposed to a situation where the male of the species just impregnates the female of the species and then goes off to another one and another one and another one. Long ago, it was not uncommon for a very high percentage of offspring to perish before their first birthday. And the theory here is that pair bonding exists to create a strong dyad for that offspring to ultimately succeed and then reproduce on its own. Now, this idea of a strong pair being necessary to raise an offspring has been manipulated by a lot of pseudoscientists and misogynists, but we'll get to that later this week. But theories of pair bonding help to explain why certain chemicals in the brain are released when we're with a loved one. For example, oxytocin, vasopressin, the natural opioids that our body produces, these are all elevated when we're with our significant other. And the theory of pair bonding basically says that that's our body encouraging us to stay with this one person so that we can produce healthy offspring. Now, from a neurobiological perspective, basically when we have good sex, we get increased levels of things like dopamine and oxytocin with that one partner. This often results in something called conditioned partner preference, which basically means that we like this person and we don't want to leave them. And so theories like pair bonding allow us to explain monogamy through windows other than just sociocultural norms. It doesn't mean that humans are inherently monogamous, we're still trying to answer that question. But importantly, it does provide an evolutionary and biological explanation for mate preference and, of course, monogamy. Which is why when ding-dongs like Heartbreak Nino say that it's a man's job to mate with as many women as possible, they really don't know what they're talking about. This is also why when you see people talking about evolutionary psychology and neurobiology in the context of dominating men and submissive females, they're usually full of shit. Because evolutionary psychology and neurobiology are both extremely complicated. And anyone who tries to oversimplify that sort of thing by telling you that men are one way and women are another way probably doesn't have the expertise to make that sort of claim.
It's only entertainment. It's only entertainment. At the end of the day, it is your job as a man or woman to get the outcome, the end goal that you desire. How does it sound for me to blame women for not sleeping with me? Or to complain about girls' body counts? Yes, yet I'm not trying to be celibate and wait until marriage. You're contributing to girls having a higher body count, yet you want the body count to be low. Does it make sense? Or as from the woman's perspective, you're complaining that men don't want to have relationships. Or is it just that they don't want to have relationships with you? You know what I'm saying? Complaining will never get you the outcome that you want. Watching videos complaining, humbling, humiliating women for your entertainment. I mean, if you're having a good dating life, you're probably not watching those videos as much. I'm just saying. At the end of the day, If you find yourself watching this type of content online and you find it improving your dating life, so be it. But if you find yourself building resentment towards the opposite gender for how your lack of dating success is, it's not really helping you. Now, whether Pearl actually believes in the things that she's spewing, or whether she's just regurgitating talking points from other content creators in the manosphere, like Kevin Samuels and all these other people, we won't know because she's getting monetized, she's getting paid for talking about this niche topic. But we can get a little tidbits into her past life, courtesy of her ex-boyfriend, Angry Reactions. And he gives us a little insight into a little backstory of Pearl. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Listen, can y'all please leave me out of any situation that y'all see going on with my ex? I understand that y'all are feeling some type of way about the things that she's saying, but that has nothing to do with me anymore. I have no opinion I would like to share about what this woman is saying or doing. I am not involved with that at all. Y'all be low-key hurting my feelings too with these comments y'all be tagging me in. Like, she'll say something about plus-size people and y'all will be like, well, didn't you date Angry Reaction? Bro, I don't want to get hit in the crossfire. Leave me out of there.
We will be perfect in every aspect of the game. You drop a pass, you run a mile. You miss a blocking assignment, you run a mile. You fumble the football, and I will break my foot off in your John Brown hind parts. And then you will run a mile. Perfection.
Leave me out of any situation that y'all see going on with my ex.
You're going to still continue to be tagged. You're going to continue to be involved. Y'all are a package deal in this situation. And something else that really irks my nerves is the fact that you don't want to be involved in any of this. But half of the reason why we know who she is because of you. So I'm trying to figure out why in the world you can't address something as simple as this. You got on this same platform to address other situations, but you can't address this one. I don't want to say it, but it seems like you kind of are still wishing for that old relationship to maybe come back around again, and you're not trying to say too much that could potentially ruin the future. Is that what it is? You want to be with somebody like that, or you just simply don't give a fuck? Because last time I checked, you were and still kind of are a part of the plus size community, even if that means you're a man and you can't address it. That's odd. That's funny. That's bizarre.
At the end of the day, understand that YouTube is a business meant for entertainment. And the negativity you see online is more times than not an exaggeration of reality. Instagram, for example, is not real life. It is a distorted version of reality. Likewise, all the negativity of modern woman this, doing blah, 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 all that shit is not always reality. And besides, let's say, for example, you holler at 10,000 girls. You try to get with 10,000 girls. All you really need is one, right? All you need is one, right? If you try, most people try to be monogamous anyways. All you need is one. And let's say out of 10,000, you only get 3, maybe 5. 5 girls who end up being your fuck buddy. Can you even handle 5 girls on a regular basis? Come on now. I say, out of all the millions of women in your state, city, country, whatever, you can't find 1 or 2 or 3 that you could consistently see and have a good interactions with?
Knew this would cause a lot of controversy. I know that, but I didn't think it would get to this magnitude. I didn't think it was possible.
Come on, man. Like me, for example, on a weekly basis, I talk to at least 25 different women, whether it's through Instagram, dating apps, or hollering them at the street, grocery store, wherever. And that gives you a well-rounded perspective on women. The good interactions, the not so good interactions, and the indifferent interactions. So I'm not gonna be out here talking about, oh, women ain't shit, modern women this, modern women that, when I'm having good experiences dealing with good quality women in my personal life, good quality fuck buddies and shit like that. So if you're sexually frustrated, you probably relate to that type of content from JustPearlyThings. Better yet, ask yourself, how often are you working on your appearance? Every time you go out, are you just wearing sweatpants and hoodies? Or are you actually dressing to be more presentable? I know, if I talk to a girl on the street and I'm looking kind of bummy or not looking my best, she's more likely to continue walking because downtown, wherever downtown core you're at, you know, there's a decent amount of like shady looking people, right? So you gotta dress a little better so that you're more presentable, you look more friendly. Just that alone, that level of game, that level of awareness makes you more likely to have a girl stop and talk to you. You know what I'm saying? So are you working on your appearance? Are you actually approaching girls, at least 25 girls a week? Are you learning how to dirty talk and flirt and shit like that? If you're not doing all of this shit, then you're just sitting here watching content complaining. And I know for me personally, I be making negative content too sometimes, you know, about the fake gurus and shit, and it's what sells. So yeah, just know it is it's all entertainment at the end of the day. Like, I can honestly say that if you watch my content, you won't necessarily make more money, but at the very least, you will never be in credit card debt, and you will understand the reality of whatever business venture you're about to pursue and go into, whether it's Airbnb, dropshipping, or whatever business venture you're about to do. Watching a video of me talking about the business concept or the business formula or the business format, you'll have a better perspective on the realities, the capital needed, the upfront capital needed to have success in that venture, YouTube, whatever it is. So watching JustPearlyThings content is helping you get more dates, helping you better understand women, and you're actually, you know, getting more punani, you know what I'm saying, more sloppy toppy, then hey, more power to you. But if you're just not really getting better dating results, question it, you know what I'm saying?
Sorry, babe. Make it come and make it go today. I still love you and you know you did. Every day me I be calling, babe. Wanna tell you that I'm sorry, babe. Make it come and make it go today. I still love you, babe. One lie, baby, our love is a sweet game.